top of the morning, everyone. And we don't want to say bottom of the evening. We say top of the evening to all our global friends. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome to the sharEvery Global Foundation Advanced Meeting. We are so excited. You know, we've been sitting on pins and needles to hear this presentation, and we're so glad that you've joined us from near and from far, from the East Coast to the West Coast, all the way from India, Mauritius, Canada. Canada's in the house, and we're so glad that you're with us. Well, we have an exciting presentation. Fasten your seatbelts because you're not going to have a bumpy ride, but you're going to have a bountiful ride in learning and growing to help in yearning for this new information that we're about to receive regarding our community. But you know what? Person cannot do anything alone. We need help. Am I my brother's keeper? Absolutely, absolutely. So I've got my brother with me. I've got my sisters with me. Let's go ahead. Coach Priya, would you please tell us, crime mover?
Let's welcome today Ms. Sasha E. Butler. She is a visionary strategist, activator, relator, connector. Ms. Sasha E. Butler is the CEO of Central for Global Alliance and Leadership Expansion. She leveraged 20 years of experience advocating for quality education, social changes, human rights, and economic development opportunities for women, youth locally and internationally. Ms. Butler is highly sought after consultant who specialize in leadership programs, organizational development, global citizenship education, diversity, equity, inclusion for schools, business, and non-governmental agency, and also non-profit organization. She holds several professional certificates, including global education from Harvard University, diversity, equity, and inclusion from University of South Florida, Miami, and creative intelligence from Miami University, Oxford. She is also a certified member of John Maxwell team. She provides coaching, seminar, and training on leaderships, communications, team building, conflict resolutions, public speaking, professional development, personal and spiritual growth to hundreds of leaders worldwide. She has received numerous awards and recognition for her work, services to the community. She also received a Maryland's Top 100 Women nomination and Wetlands University International Social Changes Agent Award, and the Coin of Excellence presented by the United States Army for her commitment to empowering men and women transitioning into civilian careers. Ms. Sasha Butler holds a bachelor degree in English literature from Manhattanville College and Master of Science degree in Adult Education and Human Resource Development for Fordham University, and is currently a doctorate candidate for Doctor in Education in Higher Education and Adult Learning. So let us welcome together Ms. Sasha Butler, and let's see what she has to tell us today. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for that introduction. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. I'm delighted to be here. It is always an honor and a privilege and a humbling experience when you are invited to speak. I do want to take this opportunity to thank my dear friend and colleague, Coach Rambabu, who has been just a force in my life in just recent years. Just met him virtually about a year ago. But he has been here during some difficult times through the pandemic that I dealt with, and his support. And I'm so delighted to have the opportunity to reconnect with him and to be a member of the sharEvery Global Foundation USA. And I am looking forward one day to being in India and meeting all of you in person, wherever you are in the world. and thank you for joining me for this presentation on building community locally and globally. I'm excited to be here. I said earlier in a video that I put together that community is not just a collection of people coming together, individuals coming together to share common interests. It truly is the foundation for building a better world. And so I spend a lot of time in the area of community building and collaboration. It is my passion, it is my ministry, and it is my purpose in life, because I know as we come together and we build communities, we make for a better world. Now, building community is something that affects us all, regardless of where we live or our cultural backgrounds. Today, we're going to explore the significance of fostering community connections, both on a local level as well as an international level. And I'm also going to talk about the importance of global citizenship education and how that impacts our ability to effectively collaborate across cultures, across geographical locations. What is community? And I just shared with you, community really is a group of people come together on common interests, goals, and or experiences. But we know that community can be a positive thing and community can be a negative thing. When we look at the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals, we realize that community, the goal number 11, about building strong communities, strong cities, and sustainable communities, that is at the core of all of the other goals. Without a strong community, locally and internationally, we struggle for access to quality education, gender equality, clean water, dealing with hunger, and all the other goals that are listed. And so that's why I put so much focus on global citizenship education and this number 11 goal for the SDGs. Now, community enhances social connections and provides support and fosters collaboration and promotes a sense of belonging. Here in the United States, we talk about what they call the diversity, equity, and inclusion. But one of the things we don't talk a lot about in the United States is a sense of belonging, right? Diversity is important. It's important. We've learned that. We learned that around the world. Equity is inclusion. Equality and equity are two different things. We can have equal amount of money, but if I don't have access to the places that you go to get the quality material or content or resources or food, then that's not equitable. And inclusion says, I have a right to be at the table. But after all of that, do I feel like I belong? And community really builds a sense of belonging that says, yes, you deserve a seat at the table. Yes, you belong. Now, building community locally and globally is not enough everyone wants to go global. But there is a proverb in the Bible that talks about first, it says, go into all the world. But it first starts with Jerusalem, then they say Samaria, and then they say the uttermost parts of the world. So when I talk to groups of people, I say, it's wonderful to go global. I said, before I went global, I was locally impacting my community. I was a part of organizing community events and gatherings, volunteering my time and engaging in international events at a local level. What are some of the benefits of community? Well, social support and a sense of belonging, as I shared earlier with you. Social support is so important. We learned from the pandemic that social isolation is like cancer. It can destroy your mental health and your sense of well-being. So building community allows you to be sensitive, empathetic, and compassionate for those who may need to have a social place of belonging. It helps you to collaborate and share resources. We live in a society where one day we have enough and another day we don't. And so those of us who have should be willing to share with those who don't. And it's not always money. Sometimes it is, I have a platform and I'm going to share my platform with you like Coach Rambabo has done with me. I said, well, I have a network of people from around the world and they're doing some free training. Well, I have resources. I know how to fundraise. And coming together and saying, what do you have in your hand? What do you have in your pocket? And how can I share that with you? We always have enough to share. Society will have you think you don't, but everyone has enough to share, even if it's words of encouragement. We all have enough to share. It helps, building community helps us increase resilience and problem solving. And that is so important. I do a lot of workshops on creative intelligence. And people say, well, I'm not creative. Well, creative intelligence is just the ability to solve a problem. We are the solution to problems. And as we solve problems, we create these sustainable communities. We help bring answers to people who are greatly in need, and we help ourselves grow professionally and personally. It is for personal growth. Diverse perspectives and experiences helps us grow as people, as human beings. It broadens our perspectives. Now, we have this misunderstanding in society that we have to either agree on everything or disagree on everything. Society says there is no middle ground. Well, I'm here to tell you today that is a lie, and that is not true. We can agree to disagree. We can disagree, but we must always respect. Someone put the question to me, and they're always challenging me on my beliefs. I stand firm on my beliefs, but this is what I tell people. I don't have to agree, but I have to respect. And when we do that, we build community. My best friend, and a young man that I mentored from Turkey over 20 years ago, came to the United States to work for the YMCA. And he was so excited to come. Now, I come from a Christian background, and he comes from a Muslim background. And people are like, oh, this will never work. And because I love community, I took on the challenge. And we spent a whole summer learning about each other. I took him to my family, what we call cookouts, where we have picnics and we share food. I took him to my place of worship. I took him to places at the theater. He took me to restaurants for food from his country. He introduced me to people in his country. He shared with me about his beliefs. And we both agreed that that's not necessarily what we believe, but what we realized was that we enjoyed each other. We had a respect for each other, and we had a common interest. And we lost contact for 20 years. Listen to this. We lost contact for 20 years. But on LinkedIn, he found me. And this is what he said. He said, hi, do you remember me? My name is Mehmet. He said, are you still my sister? That is building community. And I responded, yes, you're still my little brother. Why? Because we spent time not focusing on our differences, but focusing on what we have in common. And interestingly enough today, he said he did not go back to Turkey because of his experience with someone who looked different, believed different, but who loved extravagantly. And he is actually pursuing some of the same things that I'm pursuing, and we never even spoke about it. He is the president of the Journalists and Writers Foundation, and he's making a difference in the lives of people all over the world. And I took some time to share that with you because it's so, so important. It also opens professional opportunities. If you're trying to expand and build your network, build community. Build community. Do something wonderful for someone. And it will have a social impact. It will help us address those societal challenges collectively and drive positive change. If we're not driving change, then our mission is not worth the value that we place on it. We must have a focus on driving change first within our own life, within our own community, within our own home, and then around the world. So how do we overcome some of these challenges? And I share with it, promote cultural sensitivity and inclusivity. You have to be culturally sensitive. Being culturally sensitive does not mean you're selling out what you believe. It says, I choose. I'm intentional about choosing to respect you as a human being, regardless of what you believe. As long as you're not hurting people, I can have community with you. Because in every community, we want the best for our children. We want the best for ourselves. We want the best for our country. We want the best for our business and for our schools. We want the best. That is what human rights is all about. Everybody has the same common foundation. We want health and well-being. We want needs to be met. And being sensitive to people, regardless of where they come from, is the key to building a strong and sustainable community. Seeking those partnerships. Now, sometimes you do run into challenges. Not everybody's going to believe what you believe in terms of how do you build community. But don't give up on people. I tell you, don't give up on people. Coach Rambambo did not give up on me. He reached out to me about a year ago to speak. And it was my intention to speak, but life happened. My dad became very ill and I wasn't able to do it. But rather than just turning my back on him, because I recognize that he is part of this global community network that I'm a part of, I had a responsibility to help meet a need. And I introduced him to Coach Chris, which many of you know. And a wonderful relationship happened. But because of that, because I did not do what they say in the United States, I did not burn my bridge behind me. And that is just saying I did not create a negative impact in his life. The door remained open, and I was able to reach out to him a couple of months ago to have him come speak on my global platform. And we decided, yes, we must collaborate and we must work together to make a difference in this world. And that is why I'm so excited to be a part of the United States version of sharEvery Global Foundation. And I know there's a lot we're going to be able to do, especially with the youth, because I have a heart for the youth as well. Empower local leaders and advocates. Those of us who believe in building community, we must have the confidence and the courage to empower our local leaders. Share with them your vision. Don't give up on them. Advocate. And you'll see that many of them will come along and support you. That is how you overcome. And sometimes they'll say no. Keep asking. Sometimes they'll say not right now. Keep asking. But find a way to meet the needs of your local leaders. And I guarantee you, they will come along and become your allies and your strongest advocates for building community. Be the change that is important for those who have gone before us. Don't forget the elderly. Be the change in their lives. Be the change in your homes. Be the change. And in being the change, you make a difference. You have an impact. Now, I want to give you an example of how we can collaborate across cultures. Now, in India, there is an organization, in the United States, an organization that focuses on water, right? Water is a water. There's a water aid in India focused on providing clean water. And there's a charity in the United States, and I'm trying to remember that charity. One is Water Aid, and one is, and the other one I believe is called Charity. But they came together, and what they did was they brought their resources together. They raised funds together. They found innovative ways to raise funds. And I'm going to stop here and say, if you're going to collaborate and build community, you must find a way to work together in your community and globally to build funds. What people don't realize, I spent about 15 years writing grants, local grants and international grants. And so often as organizations, we have wonderful ideas, but we fail to take it to its full potential because we lack the resources, many times the financial resources to make it happen. But I encourage you, if you can write well, collaborate with someone in the United States that can write well. If you're good with numbers, collaborate with someone who's good with numbers. Find a local grant and then find an international grant and work together, because what they did, they came together and they came up with an initiative called Water for All. And is aimed to address the water crisis in specific regions in India, focusing on building sustainable water supply systems for the community. And that is so important because that same initiative can spark and inspire initiatives here in the United States. We think the issue with clean water is only someplace else outside the United States, but Michigan, a state in the United States, had to have bottled water because the systems that were in place were contaminated. And for so long, people were shipping in bottles of water. And what was so wonderful about that, because sometimes in the United States, people think we're not in need. There are so many needs in the United States, I can't begin to tell you. Food insecurity. But getting back to the water, people all over the world began to ship water into Michigan to help the community. And so Water for All Even though it was an initiative in India, it became an initiative also in the United States under a different name. When I think about the Center for Global Alliance and Leadership Expansion and sharEvery Global Foundation, how can we collaborate? And there's so many different ways. We don't change what we do. We don't abandon what we do for our community, but we enhance it. sharEvery is about leadership. It's about education. It's about partnering locally and globally. It's about helping the youth. And literacy is at the key of that. Well, literacy is not just for youth, it's for adults as well. And that's why I'm so impressed with the work that you're doing and how you come together every week and you do these presentations. And the level of excellence in what you do is inspiring. And then to branch that out in the United States, literacy is an issue in the United States as well. We speak English, but some people don't speak it well. Some people don't speak their native tongue well. But literacy and inspiring people to come together in a safe environment can spark that courage and that motivation to grow and to learn. And so as we continue to work together, as we continue to empower the youth, young adults, and each other, I encourage you to build community, build strong, sustainable communities. And don't forget, United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 11. It is for us to build strong cities and sustainable communities. I love that too, because I'm here to grow and to learn as well. Thank you so much.
Wow. All right. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it so much. And we're going to turn it over now to Coach Sandra Vogts, who is our reviewer. Sandra?
Be the change. And who'd have thunk, who'd have thunk, Sasha, that I would be here today to meet a soul sister.
Yes.
As Ram Babu knows, I'm all about community, which is how we met, 3 years ago now, Ram Babu?
Yes.
When I hear you speaking, Sasha, your passion and your energy just spills out. And so many people think you can't do that on Zoom. You have got it in spades, and I love it. Be the change. Be the change. You want to see something? Be the change. And there's nothing closer to my heart than community. So this was really powerful for me. I've been awakening a community in Uganda, and I would love to talk with you about how we could expand that. There's so many things. And Quinty Grannies for Africa, the Stephen Lewis Foundation, building community. But when we look at building it locally, that's where it all started. I wouldn't have known about the globe. I wouldn't have known about community if I hadn't been involved locally. It's unfortunate that our children and grandchildren today are not placed in community. We're too busy going for this class, that class. And I think the old community where the children were on stage really made the difference. Nothing happened in I'm old. So nothing happened in my community without the children on stage and front and center. And if they were shy, they were behind creating the backflashes that we needed. So what I heard here was so much wisdom from going from grassroots of building community right within our own family, within our own little neighborhood, within our community, and reaching out and out and out. Recognizing when we're out there, the more things change, the more we realize they are same. So brilliant to let people know all over the world what a mess you can find in Canada and the United States. Yes, we have people without clean water. Yes, we have people that are hungry. We have them without proper housing. So this idea that, it's going to be all magic when you come to North America, tain't so. We have to create it, and when we can create it in our own community. So your message is just a massive powerhouse of what we need. So who'd have thunk? And I love the expansion that you did around equality. And I've been a divorce consultant for a number of years. Equality is not equitable. And people don't understand that difference. Equality and equitable. Foreigner. I look, hey, foreigner, where are you from and what's it about? And that is what you're bringing forward with your passion. and the diversity accents. They're such an attraction and a magnet. So I really appreciated what you were sharing today. So don't worry about how you can get involved locally and expand, and soon you'll travel all over the world. Thank you so very much, Sasha. I'll hand it back over to, I think it's back to Andrea, our MC for today. Thank you, Sasha. It was wonderful.
Thank you.